Good morning, everybody. Welcome in to the right side of campus here on SBR Sports Fix and SBRForum.com. I'm your host, the big man on campus. It's Friday, Football Friday, December 28th, 2018. We're joined as always by our co-host, Donnie Wrightside. Donnie, here's what I'm concerned and confused about. Is the show over today or is it over the 31st? I was told it was the 31st. What's going on?
Let's make it today. We'll make it a clean break on a nice little Friday here. How about it? Celebrate the new year, 31st, be able to relax, watch some bowl games. We'll end it right here, give it on a clean note today.
So there you go. We're walking it off. Last show of that forever. This is it. The last finale. The Football Friday. It is what it is, Donnie. We're walking it off. That's what we do. We move on to bigger and better things. We'll see what happens. But here we go. Let's bring out our final time. How's everybody doing today? Hope you're having a great Friday here for a little Friday motivation. Friday thoughts. What are you thinking about today? Little Football Friday. We'll get into some bowl games. We'll recap a great bowl game last night. I got to tell you, I thought it was a great game. We'll also get into some today. College basketball's back as well. And we'll look forward to Sunday as well. All that and more here on the finale of the right side of campus. You know, Donnie, that's the word I hate the most in the world, finale. I always hate when things end. I like routines. I like the same things. And I don't like finales. Finales generally mean the end of a good show or a good whatever. So it'll be, I might cry at the end of this show, baby. But welcome in. Hit the like button for us. Do that. I don't care if you hate us or what. It's our last show. Hit the fucking like button, please, will you? Beat it if you hit the like button and then leave if you want. I don't care. Just hit the like button. But do something for us, please. It's the last show. Let's get into some headlines here. A lot of people checking in. What I'm going to do at the end of the show, I want to thank some people. We'll do that at the end, and we'll take about 5 minutes at the end to do that. Alex, Paul, Vaughn, Guan, Walter, Rashawn, Oscar, everybody, welcome in. Thanks for checking us out here. Morning headlines. We'll start with what do we got? Clemson. They're going to have some suspensions. Dexter Lawrence being one of them. According to Lawrence, he has no idea where this has come from. And I don't think anybody else does either. But he's not going to play in this game. You look at what it's going to do for Clemson. I mean, they have guys that can back him up. They have a kid that played for him when he was injured last time. He was a pretty solid player. He says he's mind-boggled. Who knows where this has happened, but they're not playing in this Cotton Bowl.
No, and, maybe just moving on to a pro career, B samples, A samples, C samples, sliver of this, sliver of that. It is what it is, and I'm pretty sure the kid was probably taking something over the counter or just, ate the wrong thing and it just popped up. And those are the stakes that you have. It's amazing that it comes through at this time of the year and know it, because I'm pretty sure, Jeff, he probably didn't end the season and just decided to start roiding up and getting ready for the bowl game or the Final Four. So maybe I don't even know what to think of it, actually. He's just going to sit it out and it'll be a loss for Clemson, but they'll survive. They'll be fine.
Yeah, no, I agree. Obviously losing a player of his caliber were hurt. He's a good run stopper on one of the best defensive lines we've ever seen. But look, you got to know what you're taking. According to them, they have no idea where it's come from either. But somebody knows something here. Kid tried to get a leg up, got caught. It is what it is. Let's move on. Rockets, the Houston Rockets are rolling right now. Another nice win last night against the Boston Celtics. James Harden being vaulted back into the MVP discussions here. They've won, I think, like 6 of 7 or something like that. A lot
8
of
and
games.
1 in
I
the
think
last 9, I think
yeah,
it is. Yeah.
there you go. 8-1 over the last 9. Impressive work by Houston, and they're starting to move up the standings. I remember a couple weeks ago they were towards the bottom. Now they're up to 7th. They're really only about 2 games behind the Thunder for the 3rd seed. So they're vaulting themselves back up. We'll be right back at the conversation. And I know you're not a big NBA guy, but Ski Profit and I did some rankings in the Western Conference, and we both had the Warriors number 1. We had the I had the Thunder number 2, Lakers number 3. I had the Denver Nuggets number 4, and then I threw in Portland, and the Lakers are in there, they're third, um, fourth Nuggets, fifth Blazers, and then I had the Rockets, which were right there as well. But look, give me the Nuggets right now over this Rockets team. There's some teams out there, but they're slowly getting back into the fold. Chris Paul will be back eventually. I like the way Clint Capella's been playing. He's been playing at a high level for them, doing a lot of rebounding and doing his usual stuff. Eric Gordon, even Daniel House, he's played well for them. Houston moving on, Donnie, going well. 112 of 17 at home and 1-8 of 10 overall.
Yeah, no, it's look, I mean, I guess it's that time of the year. You didn't think they were going to stay under 500 for the year. I don't think anybody thought. But, it goes the way James Harden goes. If he's going to play at an MVP level, they're going to be a tough out. They have a good coach. They have an innovative offensive scheme, at the forefront of analytics, saying, don't let me catch you out there shooting 2-point shots. Layup or three-pointer, that's all we're going to take out here, which is the new wave of the NBA. I just thought it was interesting because James Harden has sort of perfected a move that we haven't seen, as of like 5 years ago. The step-back three-pointer is an absolute terror, and he's the one leading the forefront in it.
Walter Trotter says he's crying. He'll miss the show. Yeah.
We ain't going anywhere, though. Like, I know the show format is moving, but Jeff has his show at night. You can check in every single day. I'll be on every single day with Teddy Cover. So I mean,
Donnie, I get you trying to put rose color. We are going. This show's gone, and that sucks. That's the point. I think you and I, Donnie, are, we've always been a team, and that's going to be odd. That's all I think. But is what it is. Ron Walsick, favorite show's leaving. Does anyone know a suicide hotline number? Don't kill yourself over me. It's not worth it. What's up, Troy, Jansen, Jack?
Usually, Jeff, they're trying to kill us, not vice versa, right?
Yes. What do you do with your mornings now? I don't know. Sleep a little bit longer. I don't know.
Yes.
Go listen to Howard Stern or something. I don't know. Between losing, listen, guys, we don't have decisions on the channels here. They're doing what they're doing. And as far as like Donnie said, he'll be starting another show. Guys, again, here's what you got to do.
We have our afternoon show every single day. Me and Jeff are together 3 to 4 p.m. on our radio show. We have a great time. There's no live chat box, but you can call in. Hey, what's up? Hey, we ain't going anywhere. So just format.
Yeah, and that's where, guys, again, if you want to support us, you have to listen to the show every day at 3:00. And now with this show ending, that will be new, fresh, great info. We'll have, college basketball's coming. We'll have every day. We'll be talking about the games. I mean, that's where you're going to want to catch us now. To make sure you join that every day. Final story, Donnie. Nick Saban says no to bowl expansion. Of course he doesn't want bowl expansion. Why would he want bowl expansion? It hurts him. Means he's got to go through more teams. It's easy now.
True.
He gets to the Final Four every year. Got to win 2 games. Very simple. Not difficult.
No.
Of course, Nick Saban doesn't want expansion. That's a smart move by him.
Yeah, because his quotes were basically saying like, "Well, what's going to make the bowls? These kids work hard for a bowl game," and I just have like one of those face palms where I'm just like, you're so out of touch because you're number 1 or 2 every single year, and it does not matter to you one bit what's going on in the outside bowl games. You think Nick Saban would love this system and wouldn't say, let's just say Alabama kept coming in at like number 10, and every year they would go to a bowl game and he would lose 5 starters in the bowl game because they wanted to go pro. He's sort of encapsulated because he's not dealing with any real world issues in college football where nobody cares about the bowl and they're preparing themselves if they are a high draft pick to leave. Nick Saban would probably hold these guys at gunpoint, Jeff, if they were not in the national championship game. And 7 or 8 of his guys like, I'm out, man. I'm not even playing in this bowl game. Meanwhile, Saban's going to get a bonus of an extra $1 million or $500,000 if he wins the bowl game. But these kids don't care. They're bouncing in the NFL. But if you're 1 or 2 every year and playing for a national title, that's big league problems, right, Jeff? So I don't got to worry about that. So I think the bowl system should stay intact. Thanks, Nick.
Yeah, well, I had a feeling he wouldn't be interested in anything, in any expansion. Why would he? What do we got here? I've literally moved meetings at work to not conflict with this show. That's how much I love it. Thank you, Guan.
See?
Guan, a very good
I know
guy.
you know
Always
what the
been a
yeah, you know what the
supporter of ours.
interesting part of the show is too? I mean, it wasn't too far off when, SBR went to live programming. This is even, like, before, like, I was even a part of the channels or even appearing on shows. Like, the build up of one of the hardest shows to have on this network is morning, the Ice Guys tried to do it for a while in the morning, but how many people are you gonna get to watch at 5 and 6 AM depending where they're at? So we were that next toughest time slot, and I remember, different shows, different people on here, 15, 25, maybe 30 people for like a 15-minute show in the morning, and we slowly built it up, and it was fun to do. This is my easiest show that I have to do. By far the easiest show. I think Jeff will agree. We can roll out of bed if we wanted to at 9:59, pop it on, and have no idea what the setup of the show would be, and just let it rip for an hour. So now with the other shows that we have, which I'm a handicapper, Jeff's a handicapper, we put in time all the time, but this was the easiest one where you knew exactly what you were getting when you come in here. Maybe me and Jeff a little surly that day, wanting to be argumentative, but it's always worked, and it was very easy to do, which was fun for me.
Yeah, again, I want to make this clear. Donnie and I do not talk at all for this show. I literally get up at 9:40. That's when I wake up, and I get up, I get the coffee, I get the water in my eyes. I come on, and Donnie tells me what we're talking about. And we talk about it. That's one thing about the show. We've never really. He sends all the info in. I don't do that. Sometimes I'll send him some good ideas, but
Yeah, what he
we
wants to
don't.
talk about, we incorporate it
Yeah.
in, send over the show format. They put it up there on the blocks, and you're getting a fresh opinion. Like Jeff doesn't know till we're coming on the show. Hey, look, Rocket's rolling, but you can spit on it. Nothing surprises because we're sports
Yeah,
fans and all. Doesn't matter.
yeah, and these games like he has NCAA basketball here. I haven't looked at these three games, but I'll break them down, and that's what we love about the show. It's very it's very homegrown. We just break it down. That's what we do. And
That's
it's
what
it's been
because it's like the sports page, you know what I mean? Like you open it up
yeah,
and it's the thing we like about the show or liked about the format was and why we loved it because I remember we were on a little bit later and said, why don't you guys go to a morning show format and try to do it? And at first, it's like, oh, we'll see how it is, but you love the fact that you just open up your laptop in the morning. I'm grabbing my Monster. Jeff's waking up. Somebody's getting a pot of coffee. You have some topics you want to talk about, but then you sort of dip your foot in the water. Like it's not a show where, and we took pride in it. That's not like there's 17 games today in college basketball, let's just say. Let's make sure we cap every single one of them. No, you sort of scan the card, you see what the bigger game's at, maybe you have a little bit of a feel, and you just get started on your day. Like, you know what? This game seems interesting. Jeff, what are your thoughts on this game? And you see how the line moves and the day progresses and the injury information, who's in and out. But it's sort of like that putting your foot in the water to see if it's cold or hot and say, you know what? I might be interested in that game later. That's why it was fun because and so easy to do. Me and Jeff don't study for this show. It doesn't come like, hey, look, there's Friday bowl games. Sometimes I don't even look at any of the bowl games, but we'll converse back and forth and be like, you know what? I'm going to take a look at that a little bit later in the day. The same thing that you would pop in the chat box. It's like, you know what? They brought up a good point on that
I,
Michigan game. Let me
you
check
know,
that out a little bit later.
and again, I think the show for wide parts of it were misunderstood. People didn't understand. Like, why don't you guys talk about sports? Break games down. That's not what this show was meant for. It was meant to. It was a variety show to wake up, to talk about sports, but to mix stuff in. Hey, what'd you eat for dinner last night? Or hey, what'd you do this weekend? Or that's what this show is. It's a homegrown real, like it's like just two people talking about sports, and it's a show. That's what it is. It was never. We throw off topic stuff in. Hey, what do you remember this moment from Sopranos? Do you remember this from this? That's what it was. And I think for a while people had to start to understand that. But Donnie, what was your favorite memory on this show? Do you have one?
I don't know. I mean, I would have to think about it. What would have been did you have a singular moment there that you liked?
I think the cheesesteak thing was funny. Like that whole show. Some of the quarrels, over food and stuff. Um, you know, um, I don't know. Just the variety of people that come in here, just like this guy here. Big man, you should worry about your heart more than these shit picks you give. It's been 2 years since I've tuned in, and bro, I am very surprised to see you're still alive. Well, hey, listen, on our last show, thanks. Way to send me
Well, I
out.
mean,
Appreciate
He is coming from the crypto lifestyle, so I'm assuming he bought in at Bitcoin at like 20,000, and it's down
that.
like
He's
3,000. So he's having a tough
good.
time out there. He
All his
really is.
money's gone. Bad life, bad year for you, cuz.
Yeah.
Maybe it's time to a new lifestyle for you, pal.
Yeah. So maybe it's time to get
Um,
back into some more safer ventures out there, like put your money in the bank.
yeah, yeah. But hey, thanks for joining us nonetheless. Let's get on to some Thursday recap here. Get into some memories later. Bowl recap. There were two good games, two bad games.
Yeah.
The bad game that was first was the Temple Owls. They get beaten up, give up, I think 56 unanswered, or some 40
Jeez.
unanswered,
I don't
something
think it
like
was
that.
50. Yeah, it was something crazy in that game. And I was watching it early, and I'm saying, like, look at this. No Raquel Armstead. They're going to be fine in this football game. They look good. Daniel Jones gets injured. I'm like, how about that? Like, it doesn't even matter that he's not going to play. Jesus, did that second half go crazy.
Yeah, Temple's defense really played terribly yesterday. Rock Ya-Sin was out, and that hurt Temple. Him not being there, I mean, he was our best cornerback. You beat people like that out. They were just 35-0 in the second half, beating up Temple. The rah-rah stuff worked for about a quarter from Ed Foley, but now it's time to move on. Quentin Ramming was very good yesterday. Daniel Jones played well. It was a good day for Duke. A nice bowl win in the Independence Bowl. Donnie, 35-0 outscored in the second half. Temple. Ugly
No,
stuff.
awful. Yeah, awful. I couldn't even believe what was going on. I mean, you knew Duke was capable of putting together a good football game, good coach, smart kids. But the way the game started out and the way it just looked like Temple was just going to do whatever they wanted on offense, and it wasn't going to matter. But I mean, you talk about flipping the switch at the half. That was pretty outrageous. Yeah.
Now, I think we thought Miami's quarterbacking would be bad. I don't think we thought it'd be this bad. Miami destroyed yesterday, 35-3. Very simple for Wisconsin. Give the ball to Taylor, let him do his thing. He has 205 yards on the ground, has a touchdown as well. Jack Cohen, you know, didn't do much, but he didn't really need to do much. Miami is embarrassing right now. Mark Richt, nice guy, seems like a good dude, but I mean, this is pretty low for Miami football. I mean, you're at the point now where you're scoring 3 points. You don't score the final three quarters, and you lose by 32. Um, Pretty pathetic here, to be honest. They didn't look prepared at all to play in this game, Donnie. The quarterbacks in this game, 6 for 17 for Miami for 48 yards and four interceptions. I mean, four intercept. I mean, you had 6 completions and 4 interceptions combined. I mean, my
Yeah,
God.
it was bad. It was I
Uh,
mean, the whole if you rewind, back to the summer when we were going over like, team previews and what you thought, everybody was, "Yeah, what do you think about the Hurricanes?" And my point was always, if Malik Rozier is the quarterback, it's one of the stupidest things you can ever do for your football team this year. You wasted an unbelievably good defense. Now, there were some outlying circumstances. Your best wide receiver gets thrown off the football team a couple weeks ago. Amon Richards would have been a top 10 NFL pick as a wide receiver. If they're back on the team, you're going to have much more explosive chances. But the point of this season was to say, we have our future quarterback, N'Kosi Perry. Let's let it rip out there. Let's see what he has. We know Malik Rozier is a really good kid who's going to study hard on film and run extra gassers after practice, but he stinks at quarterback. But he's a nice guy for the team, and maybe he can coach up N'Kosi Perry and be that shoulder to lean on if times get tough. But we saw last year in the final 3 games of the season that the kid stinks. So you come into the next year, Mark Richt more interested in saving lives than winning football games, apparently, being a man of God out there. Said, boy, this kid probably wakes up early, goes to church with me. How can I not start him out here repeatedly? But then there's that outlying circumstance, which I like to joke around and be sarcastic, where I think Mark Richt deep down hates Malik Rozier so much that he never wants him to be able to come back on campus in Miami is the only reason why he continued to play him.
yeah,
But it is what it
listen,
is.
I hate to tell any Miami fans, but neither of these two are good enough. I mean, you got to go out and do something else. These two are not good quarterbacks. Rozier, Perry,
He's a high recruit that you have
he's
to
not
let.
good though.
It's hard as a
Not good
kid,
though.
like if you're not running with the ones all season and you're getting put in the bowl games in cold weather down 3 touchdowns and saying, why don't you come back and win
Put
this
him,
football game? It's completely different.
put him with the one. That's fine. Put him with the ones. I'll say this and I'll say it loudly. He's not a good quarterback. 51.5%. and that's brutal. Uh, 5 interceptions. Yeah, listen, we'll see. We'll see if he can improve. It's been a rough couple seasons for Miami with at least without a quarterback. It's been when you have a guy like they got hurt when Kyle left. I mean, Brad Kyle should have stayed a bit longer. That hurt as well. Uh, what else do we have here? Oh yeah, and last night, what a great game between Baylor and Vandy. A really great game. Listen, I'll say this again, Donnie. I think Matt Rule's one of the better coaches you're going to find. I mean, the way he's able to just get these kids to buy in, to get these kids, look at the turnaround from last year. You go from 1 win to 7 wins. You win a bowl game. You win a shootout of a bowl game. This was a great game. I watched the entire thing. Well, not the first quarter, but I watched the other 3 quarters. The last, I mean, the kid for Vandy was terrific. The running back, he was
Yeah.
terrific. But Charlie Brewer, man, I mean, this is a young quarterback you better watch out for. I mean, he can run, he can throw. They are really good, Donnie, at the quarterback position going forward. I'm looking forward to seeing what he can pull out next year with Baylor, maybe get them back into the picture. This Keyshawn Vaughn kid was very good, but Shermer just didn't look great last night. There were some, his receivers let him down a couple times. There was a bad fumble in the red zone. The last throw on the 4th down was a terrible throw. Just not enough for Vandy. Baylor wins it outright. A great game.
Yeah, I watched a little bit of that football game. I didn't see the way it ended. I sort of had it on when I was going to bed, but it looked like a fun offensive show, easily covering the total, and a shootout going back and forth, which, again, thank God, because at least if you're going to get in the bowl games, give me a shootout with some intrigue and last team with the ball wins. That's always fun because we're getting way too much of blowouts and boring football here, but we got another day set up, Jeff, which we're going to review in just a few moments here, but it was good to see. Hey, if you had money on the game, didn't have money on the game, at least it was worth watching at that point.
Yeah, with this whole college football thing, I'm starting to just say, you know what? I'm not arguing anymore. I'm sick of hearing people. It's either you want a good bowl game or you don't. So all you people, like Quan White, all he does is complain about the bowl games. Then finally a good bowl game, he comments, defense was horrible. I mean, can we just get one game where, it was a good game. Let's just take it for what it was, Quan. I mean, we know the defense wasn't great, but hey, at least there was some action in this one. At least it wasn't, 10-7. The other 2 bowl games are just blowout city. Donnie, let's move on to today's games here.
Mm-hmm.
With the what do we got? 3 on the card here.
Yep.
We'll start it out with the first one. It's sorry, let me get this up here. Auburn hosting, heading on the road to take on Purdue. It's a neutral site game, of course, in Nashville. The Music City Bowl. This is always a good one. Music City Bowl. 3.5 for Auburn. Total 57.5. Obviously, you have a little move down here. Sharp money coming in on Purdue. I don't know. Auburn's kind of an interesting group, Donnie. I mean, for the beginning of the season, they looked good. You had that game against Washington. You played very well. But this team has had some issues with big plays, and that's a concern in this game. This defense has given up a lot of those big 20-plus yard plays. That could be trouble for a guy against like Rondell Moore, who we know is very dynamic, very explosive. Purdue, though, I mean, Jeff Brom stays. They were a 6-6 team. Actually did some good things. I don't know. You wonder, though, you look at it in 3 of their first 3 games, they lost them by a combined 8 points. So it could be a better season for Purdue, frankly. They'll be motivated in this game. I think they're finally up there to be playing a team like this. But you wonder, I mean, they're ready to step up and beat an SEC competition in Auburn. Any opinion here?
Yeah, I mean, just reading line movement there, it looks like it's a Purdue line. I think they'll be more excited to play in this football game than Auburn will be. And, that's the way I would lean, maybe towards an over since Purdue does run fast and, an SEC team. But I don't have much on this football game. I haven't watched probably more than 3 quarters combined of these 2 teams all season long. But it is a game. It's 1:30, and that's the way I'll lean in this one.
Both these teams not too far away from this site, so that's not going to be too bad travel-wise.
Yeah.
I don't know. I kind of like Purdue a bit in this game.
I flew the kid down there again, Jeff. Their good luck charm. He's down there. Give him a little boost before the game again.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that could help too. Maybe. Um, yeah, I don't know. I didn't. This one doesn't do much for me. I don't like
Nothing.
much about Auburn. I like Blau though. I like Moore. I think he's dynamic. I like DJ Knox at running back. Can we get a 3.5? Yeah, we can still get a 3.5.
Yeah,
I'll
you still
lean
get through.
with.
I'll take Purdue with the points. Yeah, I'll get the points in this one.
Uh,
You saw an
I'll
SEC
take a
team
shot.
go down last night, and I'll take it again today on that. There's the one game we're going to talk about in after the next one is really boggling my mind, but we have some time to go over that one. Second game, Jeff, 243, 244, Syracuse, West Virginia. Who's playing in West Virginia, and why do they care? And here we go again.
Yeah, I mean, you look at West Virginia. I mean, obviously no Will Greer, which I think is odd. I don't know why Will Greer's not playing in this game. Tackle Kajus is out as well. Yadni Kajus too. He's a left tackle. He's their best tackle. He's their best offensive lineman. That's going to be a big blow to them. I don't know. I think early on that this game could be kind of tough to watch. Figuring out who and what the quarterback situation's like at West Virginia. Maybe they struggle a little bit to move the ball. Syracuse is going to come in and be motivated to win this game. I mean, you're playing against West Virginia. They're a team that is um, a Big 12 team. They're well known. You want to go in and beat this group. You got a guy in Dungy who's a pretty dynamic quarterback. Uh, I don't know. I don't know much about the backup, Jack Allison. I mean, he played a little bit this year for West Virginia, 6 for 10 for 75 yards. I mean, that system down there, you have really good receivers. I mean, Gary Jennings, David Sills, Marcus Sims, Wesco, Simmons, Kennedy McCoy, running back. They have plenty of weapons. I don't know. I still think this is a pretty high scoring game.
Yes, yeah.
Syracuse is not a good defensive team, and
Nope.
that's something that we kind of have to talk about. I mean, this line has dropped considerably. I mean, 8 points, and obviously that has a lot to do with Will Greer. At 66, I still think we see points. In the game.
Yes.
I don't think that's going to be an issue here. Maybe
No,
not
nobody's punting
early.
in this game, right? Nobody's punting in this
Yeah.
game. 4th and 2, 40-yard line. Your
No.
40 or the other 40. They ain't punting the football here. Dungy's going to want to go out and put up a lot of numbers. And he's perfect for a game like this because West Virginia stinks on defense. And when you have a
Yep.
dual threat quarterback who's legitimate running and legitimate passing with weapons, they're going to run fast and they're going to score points. And it does stink that Will Greer is not going to play. But Syracuse's best defensive lineman is not going to play in this football game on an already porous defense. Dana Holgerson's going to dial up stuff anyway. They're going to be throwing it all over the lot. It's not a situation, Jeff, where Will Greer, like 3 minutes before the game, is like, guys, I'm out. And the backup quarterback's like, oh, my God, I haven't practiced in a month. Like, no, they've been ready for this coming in. There will be points in this game. I think that's the angle in this one, opposed to, Chris opens up -7.5, and now that game sits at +3, which is one of the most amazing line swings I've maybe ever seen in a bowl game. But that's what you get when the starting quarterback sits out. I think you're on to something here with the total because regardless of who plays, both defenses stink. So that should tell you a lot.
Yeah, I mean, you also throw in the fact Syracuse #2 in the country in plays per game. I mean, they run very fast, 85 plays a game. I mean, I think West Virginia, for what it's worth, Donnie, when they bring quarterbacks in, they fit the system there.
Yeah.
He has plenty of weapons. Maybe early he could struggle a little bit, but West Virginia 45th in the country in pace, so they go pretty quick as well. At 66, I'm going over in this game. I'm going to
Nice
kind
game,
of
too, Jeff. 77, 80 degrees, wind under
yep,
10 miles an hour.
yep.
Hey.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
like this one. Both defenses not good. Um, and another thing, Donnie, the one thing I kind of like about West Virginia, and I wonder if this will kind of hurt. Maybe they focus a little bit more on the run, but I think they're going to have to quickly figure it out. They're going to have to throw the football in this game because with Syracuse and their dynamic ability, it's going to probably turn into a shootout. At 66, look, if this was 75, maybe not, but at 66, I'll take a shot with it.
Both teams,
I
you can't
wonder
see
though.
both of these teams dipping their toes into the 30s in a bowl game where they're going to be just doing
I'm
nonsense out
interested.
there. Yeah, come
I'm
on.
interested in seeing. This game doesn't go off until 5:15. I'm interested in seeing this line probably will go down a little bit more too. I would think. I mean, people are
I
going
don't
to
know.
see Will
Usually,
Greer out.
yeah, but usually the day the day of the game, everybody likes to jump on it over.
Yeah, but I think people are going to see Will Greer out, and they're going to just immediately think like, oh, look at the total. It dropped 8 points. maybe we can get maybe something lower. But for the record, I like the over. Anything under 67.
Yep.
What do we got in the final game, Donnie?
Iowa State, Washington State. I mean, I'm trying to wrap my head around this, and I don't know if it's just, the bowl games and you just don't want to take a favorite in this instance. But Pinnacle opens up at 6.5. Now it sits at 2.5 in the favor for Washington State. And I try to look and see like how things might have changed or might have been a little bit different if we're taking a look, Jeff, at Washington State's schedule. You lose on the road by 3 to USC, but you win basically every single game until you play in the Apple Cup in Washington. And I was on Washington in that football game. But you know why I was on Washington in that football game, Jeff? Washington's good defense, and a hell of a storm was coming in there to come in there. And it did exactly what you thought would happen. One team, you could barely see the field, and one team's built on passing, and the other one had more of a ground game and relied more on the defense. That was easy to read. But now you have a month. Nobody's leaving. I didn't see anybody leave in Washington State. I didn't see Gardner Minshew saying, I'm going to try to get ready for the draft. Something is wrong with this line to me, but maybe I'm the one missing out on it because I think Washington State winning by 3 points with their offense in good weather conditions should be able to handle the am I missing something here, Jeff?
Yeah, I got to be honest. I like Iowa State to be honest with you. I don't. I think they're pretty used to this kind of team. I mean, they play these air raid offenses pretty frequently. I think Brock Purdy's been terrific. I mean, he has been really good, man, as a quarterback there. I think they're used to offenses like this. They see him quite frequently. I think they have a solid running back in Montgomery. I think they could dirty this game up and make it tough on Washington State. And the thing about Iowa State now is you always kind of had to worry about their offense. Not anymore. I mean, Purdy, 66% of his passes, 10 yards per pass attempt. I mean, Donnie, that was third nationally behind Murray and Tagovailoa. I mean, he has really figured it out. You look at with him, 8 games with Purdy, 6.06 yards per play. Without him, 4.8 yards per play. They have been totally different on offense. It's been really impressive. But I have a thing for Minshew and Mike Leach. Leach is 1-3 in bowl games at Wazoo. The lone victory was with an interim staff. I kind of like Iowa State, to be honest.
Yeah, no, I mean, I could say it. There has to be something for why this line is, moving down in that direction when you would think the far superior team would be Washington State in the way they played this year. I mean, one loss by 3 on the road to when USC was actually something and then getting beaten in the absolute snowstorm in the last game of the season. I don't know, and I'll leave. I don't know, and that's where I'll leave it at this point. I guess there's a lot smarter people in here in college football that know a lot more than what I actually do in this college football game. But I just think Washington State's far superior, and I'll just leave it at that on that one.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree, and I like Washington State a lot. I just think Iowa State is kind of used to these kind of games. They play these teams quite frequently. All right, guys. Per usual, something is weird, Donnie. This actually is not the last show. I guess there's a show Monday, Donnie. Is that what I'm hearing here?
Looks like it, yeah. Might have to go for a little round 2 on Monday.
This is why I asked at the beginning. This is why I wanted to make this simple. Okay, so there's going to be a show on Monday. That'll be the last show.
Due to supreme support from the chat box in there, you're forcing me to work Monday now. Me and Jeff are going to take the day off. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, I don't think it had to do with that. I think it was somebody wasn't talking to someone. That's what I think.
The show on Monday that we'll do will just be a YouTube show, so it won't actually be produced. It'll be just me and Jeff getting on there. I didn't mind doing a show on the 31st. There's a lot to go over. Like, you're going to be finishing up, NFL, getting ready for the NFL playoffs, bowl games. We could talk about who won, Notre Dame and, Oklahoma. So it would be a good show on there anyway. So.
Let's move on here. We'll wrap up with some basketball on today's Friday. Yeah, I agree, Walter. I think the show should just end today. I think Friday is a good way to go out. But again, I don't.
We'll see. Yeah, we'll play it by ear. I'm sure if we go live, you guys will tune in anyway. If we don't, I don't think you'll miss us too much on that end of it. But it's interesting, Jeff, because I have another show coming up here a little bit in about maybe an hour and a half. And you see my passion, Jeff, for the bowl games, right? Can you just see my passion of how excited I get for bowl games? Like I just light up when we have to go over these bowl games. Like I'm going to do a show that's going to be taped today, but specifically for the first. So we can't really talk about like the national championship games or any other bowl games, but we got to go over the games on the first, like Iowa, Mississippi State, Kentucky, Penn State, LSU, Central Florida. And I got to tell you, man, I'm not that excited for it, Jeff.
Yeah, I did those already for SBR. I did them yesterday actually. We recorded those. I actually like going to like Drew Martin and I did probably I don't know 10 bowl games with Drew Martin, him and I. We did like for them way ahead of time, and I don't know, I kind of liked it. I mean, you get to know some of these games. That's why a couple of these I've kind of already filled in with. I already went over them, but yeah, I don't mind that too much. But yeah, you definitely got to prepare a little bit. Um, what's the reason these shows get canceled? The challenge is looking to go with less live programming. There's a lot going on at the channels, a lot of different things, a lot of different people had to be on, and they're just trying to shorten things, I guess. You know,
Streamline it. My show schedule, it's funny too because they say, "Oh man, you're gonna lose a show," but like my actual show prep and work actually increases with this show leaving and me getting a new show and the big man at night. So there's no rest for the weary. You know,
I'm gonna
checks still come
yeah.
in and do
Listen,
all that
Donnie,
stuff, but my life actually gets harder with this going.
I'm not going to sugarcoat this. I'm irritated by this. I don't have a problem saying it. And I know I don't want to put Donnie in a bad position. That's just nothing to do with him. I'm irritated by this. Okay, I love this show. I love all the shows that we do. I think the roundtable is one of the best we have on this channel. And to remove it, I think is a bad idea. And I'm going to come out and say that. So, but I'm going to stop because I've said that before and nothing has changed because of it. So I'm going to move on. We're going to talk about NCAA basketball here on a Friday. We got 3 games. What do we got?
JMU, Jeff, versus William & Mary. Now, it's interesting because you sort of I like the way college basketball is doing it today, Jeff, right? Giving us a little bit of teaser before they really start opening it back up. You know, one of those last days where it's not like the big boys, so to speak, getting into it with conference play, but you still have some interesting matchups and some stuff that you can certainly dig on here. James Madison versus William & Mary, Jeff. About a 50-50 ticket split in this one. Line opened up at 7, still saying it's 7s. BetOnline actually showing a -8 in the favor of William & Mary. But I assume these kids are coming off the break, haven't played in a bit. How do you approach betting these type of games, Jeff? Because you're going to have empty gyms primarily because kids aren't back from the holiday. And not many people go to JMU William Mary games as is. And did these kids eat too much and not pay attention to basketball? Now, like, hey, we got a game today.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, Donnie, I'm not looking to bet William & Mary right now. I mean, this team is a far cry from what they were last year. They're one of the most efficient offenses in the country. I mean, just their offense was a work of art under Shaver, but not this year. They struggled. They're going to get a JMU team here that I think is scrappy. They'll keep themselves in the game. You're getting 8 points here. I don't think William & Mary's near good enough to be laying this kind of number to JMU. Your JMU doesn't wow you on offense, but you know they're a team that can make some threes. They're a decent foul shooting team. They can kind of stay in the game. But this is not your typical William & Mary offense. I mean, they've been good from 2-point, but they've struggled at the foul line. They've struggled from 3. They've struggled to really kind of get going against good defenses. I don't know. This is a better defense than most people think in JMU. I mean, this team put up 40 points in our last game against, obviously Virginia. But you look at in all their wins, I mean, none have really been blowouts. I mean, other than they had a game against a non-ranked team and a Division III team. But other than that, I mean, the St. Joe's game was close. The Hampton game was close. They only beat High Point by 10. I'm not really running to the window to bet on William & Mary by 8 points or more. To me, this number is 4 or 5. I would take JMU.
Eli Pemberton coming into the game questionable, Jeff, on the next one up, 809, 810, Delaware and Hofstra. Pretty good ticket split here, 55%, 45%. Line opened up at 12, but I guess with that injury information, Jeff, pushing that south because Chris now showing a -10, 10.5 at Intertops, 10.5 at BetOnline. So some interesting line movement, but obviously in college basketball, especially these smaller games, non-Power 5 games with a ton of betting action, you are going to get some violent swings, especially when injury information comes back and who's in and who's out. Pemberton, pretty good guard.
Yeah, Pemberton's a great guard. You have Justin Wright Foreman as well. This is a good basketball team right now, and they're beating teams up pretty badly. I mean, Hofstra's playing some good basketball right now. They're at home here. I mean, nothing really better if you're Hofstra than you get a little holiday break. You got 3 straight games at home. You have a chance to really kind of get going here in your conference. And this is a conference game, Don. Your first conference game. You want to
Mhm.
come out and kind of take care of business right away. These games mean something now. Not that the other ones didn't, but this is an important game. Hofstra does a nice job at defending the three, and that's one thing for Delaware that you have to do. Under Martin Inglesby, they've been a very good and very on point 3-point shooting team. You have to be able to guard the 3-point line, and Hofstra does a pretty decent job at doing that. This team is very effective offensively. They've been actually decent defensively as well. Hofstra. This isn't that sieve on defense. I wonder about Delaware. I think they're kind of outmatched here. This is a team in Hofstra. They get to the foul line as well, which you have to like, and they're very good at knocking them down. Number 1 in the country in free throw percentage at 80.4%. Hofstra, you don't kind of think on the surface can blow teams out like this, but yeah, if I'm taking Hofstra here, I'm laying the points. I mean, they've beaten up some teams lately. Beat Rider by 16, beat Manhattan by 30, beat Kennesaw State, beat Siena big. So all these teams have kind of been beaten up by Hofstra at home. Get the conference play coming in. I'd look to probably lay them.
All right, so laying the points there, early one there with the Hofstra pride. But I'm excited, man. Look, as you said, the key ingredient there, Jeff, conference play is starting, like versus like opponent. I'm right around the corner, Jeff, to get geeked up on this. Because if I have to talk one more goddamn bowl, my head is going to explode here. But one that's right up your alley here, Jeff, 805, 806, IUPUI versus Northern Kentucky. About a 60% ticket split here coming in for the Norse of Northern Kentucky. Line opens up around 8, going up to 8.5. So line moving in the right direction with the product of the ticket split here. 65% of the money coming in on Northern Kentucky. Any advantages in this one here, Jeff, for the Norse?
Yeah, I mean, maybe. I mean, they're definitely a better team, but IUPUI is improved. I mean, they're playing better. I mean, they're not that same whipping boy in the Horizon League to me. I think they're going to be sneaky this year. I think they're going to give teams games this year. They play with a solid pace. They're actually okay offensively. Listen, I don't. Here's why I have no interest in Northern Kentucky laying this kind of number. It's 8. They're going to have to be up 15 for you to feel comfortable in this game. And I'm going to go out on a limb and say they're not up 50. I think they're going to have to make free throws to cover this game. And I had and made the mistake of early this season betting on Northern Kentucky laying 5, Donnie. Like one of my third or fourth bets of the
Mm-hmm.
season.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't make foul shots, and they're
Nope.
still not making foul shots. This team is 340th in the country in free throw percentage. I have no interest in Northern Kentucky at this number. Do I want to bet IUPUI? I don't know. Not really, but I'm not laying the points here. No way, no how. If they're up 20, you don't have to worry about it, but I'm not sure they'll be up 20. I think IUPUI is a scrappy basketball team. They play with a nice pace. They're not a bad defensive team either. I'll lean on IUPUI, to be honest. I think the Jags can hang around. Free throws could be the death of the cover here.
Nice little card. Anything else touching your mind? We got LSU. Jeff, the battle in state Louisiana, 821, 822, UL Monroe, LSU. Not too many high profile, but maybe the Texas and Texas Arlington. So you do have some interstate battles there with some Power 5 teams going to get some lower level ones. But it looks like we'll have to wait it out. Jeff, got a good day tomorrow. How about that, though? Nice bowl schedule tomorrow. Kicking in with the Final Four of football with the playoff. And then you get some of the big boys rolling into conference play. So you got a busy Saturday. Just got to hold off one more day. Got a nice little appetizer on the card here with college basketball. Got some bowl games. But tomorrow it all gets off kick-started. And then you have obviously Sunday with NFL and rolling right into the national title game the following week. So got some good stuff on the horizon here.
Yeah, you definitely do. Yeah, I think for me, I would maybe lean towards. I took this team as a dog before. Kind of liking it maybe again. Denver, maybe taking a shot with the Pioneers here against Nebraska Omaha. Might be just too many points here for Denver to be getting. But I'm high on that one. The rest of the card, I think Gonzaga kills Northern Alabama. That'll be one I have my eye on. See what the line comes out in that one. I don't know. We'll have to see. I'll have to
Yeah,
grab
by the
this
way,
card
tomorrow
by
with
the
tomorrow with the football games though, Jeff, like there's some decent bowl games before the playoff games start at 4 o'clock. Are you excited for these bowl games? Because as I was looking back and going over the games itself, I just thought it was kind of interesting that you have two semifinal games, so you figure it would be like the top four teams, which it is technically, but with two touchdowns in both of those games approximately. Isn't that amazing though for a Final Four? Like shouldn't uh, I don't know. I mean, beggars can't be choosers, and you want, Alabama. Do you just want to fast forward to Alabama Clemson, or like it's just really weird that those games are scheduled, quote unquote, for two blowouts.
Yeah, I haven't had a ton of bowl plays. I just, I haven't really had a feel on a lot of these games, and I've been kind of just worried about other things. But I actually will have a play tomorrow. I'm going to be sending it out. I got something on tomorrow's card that I really like.
I know
Gonna
what
rock
it
with
is.
it.
Can I give it out or no?
If you can get what do
But
you think it
and
is?
also interesting, like when we talk about tomorrow's games, Notre Dame, obviously Clemson getting a good defensive lineman suspended. Notre Dame, those suspensions coming in. But you still want to keep an eye on, Jeff. I wanted to spend a minute here. Oklahoma, Alabama, since obviously we're not going to be on the rest of the day or tomorrow to go over this game together. Not a lot being made here of Tua Tagovailoa's ankle right now. I'm 80%. You know what that means, Jeff? He's 60%, right? And he's
Hmm.
going to be a little bit rusty. And the game's going to go 100 miles an hour right off the bat, where you're going to have to be planting and throwing, and he's built on mobility and extending plays. I think that's going to be a problem in this game. But also on the opposite side, Hollywood Brown, hey, just out of his boot Wednesday, and we saw him practicing. Is this just for showmanship, or is he going to be ready to go in this football game? Because I don't think these two injuries are getting really enough. Tua or Jalen. Tua's a much better quarterback overall full game than Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts is a pretty good quarterback. But a healthy 100% Tua Tagovailoa makes a massive difference. And if he's hovering at 60%, Jeff, that's enormous for the chances for Oklahoma in this game.
I agree. I think I think he's a little bit more worrisome than Brown. I think Brown will give you something. He looks to be okay. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, I think Tagovailoa. I think there's a lot of concern. I think with him. I think he's not really sure. I think he's kind of wishing in his head, "Why? I wish we had another week," but we don't. I think
I mean,
he's
the
and
dude was
he's
in a
Donnie
boot
going off and on.
surgery, high ankle sprain. Yeah.
And he's been off and on hurt all season. I mean, this has
Yeah.
not been. I mean, he's went out of games. He's had trouble, and he's very important. He obviously needs to run the football a little bit, be able to move around. Yeah, look, I said it before. I broke these games down like a while ago on SBR, and I took both dogs. I just think both dogs are to play. You're getting a lot of points in what one game should be a shootout. I'll take 14 all day in a game like that. In the other game, I just think that Notre Dame's getting disrespected here. I think Clemson's really good, but I think Notre Dame can move the ball in that defense. They're very good all defensive line, but I wonder about their secondary. I think at times they have some trouble there. So yeah, I'll lean with the both of the dogs.
Yeah, it's just interesting to see those lines because I mean, again, we've seen in the past where those games are pick'ems and the Ohio State's, Clemson's, and that were playing earlier. It just, I would have liked a little bit more fervor for these games if they were like lined at like three. I mean, you can't just line it at three because obviously the number is what the number is. But moving along to like the national championship game the following week, I'll enjoy it though. I'm looking forward to it. I like the fact that they're both on. You don't have to wait like one's on a Monday, one's on a Tuesday. They're just going to roll back to back, and it'll be interesting to see. And we'll have some fun talking about it. But let's not forget also, you see a lot of these teams come out, Jeff. This isn't like a red hot team coming off of playing last week. These kids are going home. These kids are having holidays, the bowl practices. And 3 weeks later, they're just going to reappear in the biggest games of their lives. And that's going to be tough to maybe for some of these kids. All it takes, Jeff, is what? Alabama, one overthrow, one fumble out there, a false start or a holding call when you had a touchdown on the play. You're going to see that play out here. So I'm interested to see who handles it better between both these ball clubs.
Yeah, should be fun. I'm
Hmm.
looking forward to seeing what goes on between these two. I'll go both dogs here. But my play's actually on another game. I don't. I
Ooh, all right.
I
Cool.
like one of the other games, but yeah. So
You got some interesting. I
Donnie,
mean, yeah,
why don't
Florida, Michigan tomorrow. I mean, that'll be interesting. Who's even playing for Michigan? Is the whole team out? Like, is everybody leaving on Michigan?
there's a lot of players out.
Five,
Yes.
six, yeah, 5, 6 starters out. Yeah, go ahead. What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say go ahead with some NFL that you have.
Yeah, a little bit of NFL. I mean, not much. You're not gonna get much line move between, like, yesterday, today. This is more of, when you have the bull in the ring, Jeff, you're the matador, and you have the towel, the red towel out or the red band, and you're saying, "You know what? Come on, come over here." And you just pull it down and say, "This guy's not playing tomorrow. This guy's not playing tomorrow." One of those things in the NFL which you don't get to see too much, where there's still some smoke screens going out on who's playing, who's not playing, who's giving up, who's going to be in. The one thing that, Jeff, remember we talked about the one play I know you like, the over in the Tampa Bay game, where we're saying, like, Julio Jones, what's the reason for him playing? There's still some outlying situations. Julio Jones, if you don't know, Jeff, is up a little bit over 100 yards on DeAndre Hopkins for the NFL lead in total yards for wide receivers. You don't think he's sitting this one out, right? That means a lot to these guys. Like, Julio's going to play in this football game and probably play really well to make sure he doesn't get caught by DeAndre Hopkins, who's going to have to go up against Jalen Ramsey in that game. So there still are some motivational tactics from some other teams where you still want to sit on top and break some records. So there are some interesting things. I know we said, who's going to play in this game or what's it going to look like, but I would be really surprised if Julio Jones sits that football game out, which theoretically he probably should since he's so banged up, but pride means a lot, and you want to secure being the overall top wide receiver in the NFL. It means a lot to these guys.
Yeah, listen, you know where I stand with the sitting out stuff. You know where I stand with the Bears and and all these games. Donnie, who do you think the best receiver in the NFL is?
The best what?
Best receiver.
Best receiver in the NFL. Man. I mean, I like it's hard. It's hard to pick the best because I think Julio Jones presents so many disadvantages to a defense because of how big and fast he is. But can you say, like, DeAndre Hopkins shouldn't be like A1A with that guy, or Antonio Brown when he's completely healthy? I know I have to pick one. If you needed just like one wide receiver, I probably still would go Julio if I needed just one for one game.
I don't know. Antonio Brown, man, he's still a great player, man. But
He's
listen,
awesome.
I'm
I
all
love
up.
him. I love him. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, guys.
And they got
That's that. What did you say, Don?
And they got Juju on the opposite side. Man, how'd they mess that up? How did the Steelers mess their season up? Really good defense, Hall of Fame quarterback, 2 A1A wide receivers, an unbelievable offensive line. Yeah, Mike Tomlin, go ahead.
You hate Mike Tomlin. All right, guys. We'll wrap it up here on a Friday. Everyone have a great day. Join us at 3:00. We'll go over all these bowl games in depth.
Yep.
For tomorrow and
Live on the air.
we'll
We'll
get
have live on the air, Jeff. We can go back and forth on. That'll be good.
Yep, exactly. Make sure you check all that stuff out. Make sure you always are there at 3. We always have great info. You can call in and join us if you want as well. Everyone have a great day. Have a good weekend. I'll be back tomorrow as well, 11:00 a.m., breaking down a college hoops card and taking your questions as well. So join us for that. Donnie, anything you got going on here?
Yeah, my day is busy, and I won't even get to go outside, which there's no need to go outside today because it's raining torrentially here, but I'll be entrenched all day long and hopefully be in bed early tonight from the exhaustion today, Jeff. So that's how my day is going to go.
Very good. Enjoy your day, everybody. We'll see you on Monday. Last show of this right side of campus, and we'll send it out on Monday. Have a great night. Good weekend. Bye bye.